came into Dawson just flying. How did you feel out there on the trail?
It's been interesting because this is the first race where I've basically been on my own the whole time. Last two mushers I saw were Brent Sass and Mike Ellis, and that was 30 miles the other side of Braeburn. And I've seen mushers occasionally in the different checkpoints, but out on the trail it's just been me and the dogs. And going into this race, that was my whole game plan. No matter where I was and what place I came in, I just want to spend a lot of quality time with the dogs and do our thing. A lot of people think that Hugh Neff needs to tag along behind other mushers to do well in races, and this year I plan on proving the point that I don't need help from any mushers, and that our dogs are just fine by themselves, and hopefully we're doing that so far.
Your dogs look really good coming in.
Mm-hmm.
How are they doing? Was that so? It's a young team, right?
It depends. It's all relative, you know. I've got Annie's Army, 7 3-year-olds, same letter from Annie. Unfortunately, she couldn't come. We'll be using her in Iditarod, which is maybe the way the creator all wanted it to happen. But they're on fire. Came in, brought them into the dog yard. Ironically, we're staying in the same dog yard that Lance was in last year over here at the campground. Got out my chicken breast and fed the whole team, and by the time the vet staff showed up, it looked like a wolf pack devouring a moose or something. You had 13 dogs on the ground just wailing on that chicken breast and slurped up all their water, so feeling pretty good about life. That being said, there's a lot of real good competition, you know, right behind us, so just got to stay focused on one run at a time is the way I'm going to be looking at it.
You're running a different kind of run, aren't you? Longer runs?
Yeah, that's what the beauty of what Lance did winning this race, you know, so many times is he opened up the parameters where people, you know, remember that one run I did from Scroggy to Dawson years ago? People were making such a big deal out of it, and nowadays that's a nothing run compared to some of the runs we do. So it keeps my mind open to the possibilities of when and where I can make certain moves, and you just never know what I'm going to be up to out there. A lot of it depends, obviously, on the time of day and the weather and stuff like that, and how the dogs are looking, but I'm pretty pumped up about the next couple of days. It's going to be fun out there.
So you can head out 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:18, I guess. And so sounds like you're just ready for it, huh?
Yeah, quite honestly, I was hoping to get into Dawson a little bit earlier, but typical, you know, mushers usually end up showing up a little bit later than what is expected. So realistically, though, by showing up at 3 instead of like 1 or 2, I think I'm leaving at a better time. The dogs will be a little bit more amped to get on the trail. Obviously, I wasn't able to drink as much at the pit this year, but there's always the summer, I guess. But I did have my fun with my buddy Correspondent, so that's the part about dog mushing. I mean, everybody's all into the racing aspect of this, but it's got to be fun. You got to celebrate life. Dawson, these people that are distant, the dog mushing the race, and that only feel good about life if they win a race or if they do really well. I mean, come on, give me a break. It should all be about enjoying what you do, and we should all be lucky enough to realize that, you know, we're very fortunate to do what we do.
It's quite a privilege, isn't it?
Yeah, so any mushers that whine about anything, I don't care what's happened to them over their lives. I don't want to hear your whining. Just take care of your dogs and have fun. And, you know, that spirit spreads throughout the community, and that's the way it should be.
Great.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. And it's just a real honor to, you know, these dogs I knew since the day they were little guinea pig puppies. There was just something about these little pups that I knew they were going to be a special team to play with. And it's just, you know, they're only 3 years old. This is the beginning of something. I don't think this is anything race-wise where these dogs, they only have a couple races under their belt. Some of them did the Colbuck 440 last year. A few did the Quest as 2-year-olds, but not many. But all of them did the Cusco 300 3 weeks ago. And pretty much 3 weeks ago from this weekend. And somebody told me a couple days ago that Charlie Boulding, old Quest champion that we all respect highly, said that there was no better training than the Cusco 300, and typically 3 weeks after the Cusco, the dogs really toughen in. And I think we're living proof of that fact. So, talking with race veterinarians, it's not really how far you train, it's how you train and when you train. When people see us do these runs or whatever in races, we don't train like this. I mean, the longest run I did in training this year was about 35 miles. So I'm not really into the super long runs, but it's how I do it. And stuff like that, you know, we as mushers that are doing quite well, we're going to tell you some things, but I think every musher has to learn for themselves how to do it their way. And for me, you know, I've been doing this since 2000 now. I've had my ups and downs. And hopefully these kids that are trying to make it, you know, they might have a tough year this year, and they might not do as well as they want, but persevere, don't give up.
You're coming into your own.
Yeah, and it's a real good feeling because I know a lot of people want me to do well, and I don't really care if I win or not. I know people are probably going to say, what the heck type of attitude is that? But it's just not the way I was brought up to just think about myself. I'm doing this to make a lot of people happy, and I think we're succeeding in that. So hopefully we can just keep the momentum flowing, and we're definitely giving it our all because I know a lot of people are wanting us to do well. So when I do well, I'm not doing it just for me. I'm doing it for everybody who wants to see a loser get lucky.
More than luck, I think, in this case.
yeah, a lot of just day-to-day loving of the dogs is what it's really all about. It's about the bond with the animal more than any type of special genetic breeding we're doing or anything. I don't necessarily think we have the greatest dogs in the world, but we have the greatest dogs to me. And I show that through how I treat them, along with Tamara. Obviously, people know about me and Tamara, and she's a big part of our success. You should see her out there just loving the dogs up and massaging them, and they're all in the tent with their nice little comforted blankets on each one of them. So they're dogs to us. They're tough wild animals, but in a way they're also like dolls too. So, you know, they're like a bunch of teenage kids that you're just trying to point in the right direction.
Well, so that's the way you learn, isn't it? By teaching.
And they teach you as well, you know. I mean, even out here on the trail, I'm just learning stuff about shutting up, basically. A lot of mushers talk too much. I learned to hum or whistle more. Sometimes I notice, like, right as the sun's coming up, I actually keep my headlamp on because I'm always, if you're in the front, you got to really stay focused on the trail. I've got lost only once briefly in this race in the mining district, but I keep my headlamp on even when it's light out so I can see the reflective markers. But I noticed when I did that the dogs were actually looking back at me like, dude, what do you got your light on for still? So I actually turned it off and they didn't look back anymore. So I'm always keying off of, you got to know how to read your dogs, you know? And that's...
They speak a different language.
Yeah.
But they speak.
And just as far as how to feed, when to feed, what to feed, it's all very strategic. And big part of mushing, and Curtis Earhart, you know, Curtis had a moment with her, just about packing. And people are probably looking at my sled going, what the heck, look at that thing, it looks like a little toy sled. But I've really practiced and thought out what I really need out there and how to pack properly. I think a lot of people just bring way too much stuff. And I learned that in last year's Quest. I had a probably 15-pound seat behind me that I barely used. And some people say that sled handles better, whatever that means. I mean, any sled handles good if it's made properly. So I don't have a seat this year, and I don't really think I need a seat. My legs are a little tired, but, you know, we're supposed to be a little bit tired of it.
Well, I hope you're a little tired. And, you know, I hope you have still a little more energy for the next half.
Oh, yeah. And then we got other races after that. So, you know, this is definitely a more than just a race. It's almost like a religion, I tell people. And, you know, our kennel will do over 3,000 miles of racing every year. But for me, without question, the race that I'm most connected to easily is the Quest. Because this is where I learned through, you know, the School of Hard Knocks. And as far as the Quest goes, without question, the most hauntingly beautiful part of the Quest, without question, is right here in Dawson. And if you haven't been to Dawson, then you're missing one of the most beautiful areas in the world, I think. I love it here.
Yeah. The next section of trail going down the river is supposed to be very picturesque, huh?
Yeah,
well, I've been down the river in the summer, but I mean in winter it's got that solitary beauty.
It's probably going to be a little bit dark tonight, I'm figuring. They're saying it's going to be cloudy and all that, but I enjoyed the feel of it. Last time when I came through here last year, we had 4 caribou on the trail in front of us. That was pretty cool to be chasing a bunch of caribou down the river. But we're good buddies with Sebastian Jones at 40 Mile, and in a strange way, it's almost like a pilgrimage too. Like you're going along and visiting friends, like you're yearly meeting with people. And unfortunately, with the intensity of the racing nowadays, we really don't stay as much as we used to. But you know, it is a race, so people might think I'm pushing the pace or whatever, but I'm just doing what my dogs are telling me is good for them, and if they can handle it, then I'm just going to try my best to keep up with them.
Thanks very much for your time.